What's up, everybody? I'm Michael Chris, 3 years running bestseller at ShineOn. Now I'm the CMO of ShineOn. I wanted to thank you so much for checking out our YouTube video. And if you like this kind of content, I want you to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope you enjoy the video. What's up? How's everybody doing?
Doing good, man.
Good, dude. What's up, Mario? Tiffany? How you doing?
Awesome.
Good. Good deal. Thanks for joining me today on another Coffee with Michael. Probably the best one this month, maybe the best one ever. You'll never know if you don't stick around. What's up, everybody? We got Facebook user from Florida. How you doing, Facebook user? You are my favorite. You've never missed one of these. Dedicated person over here. We have Ed from Reno, Nevada. What's up, Ed? How you doing, buddy? Let's see. We've got Werner. What's up, Werner? Looks like you went in and gave StreamYard permission to use your name. Way to be. Sweet tea. Sweet tea works. What Tiffany, what are you drinking?
Actually, mate. Do you know mate?
Mate. That's a type of tea, right?
Yes, it's Argentinian.
Very nice. I've never had it. But I'm not really a tea guy. I'm a coffee guy.
Well,
Coffee all the way
has more
through.
caffeine than coffee.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I could handle that. All right. We got Dave. What's up, Dave? What are you drinking, Mario?
Just soda water.
Just soda water. Wink, wink. You can probably, it's probably okay to say here. I don't think Facebook's going to take us down. It's not like TV.
I don't know. It's not 21 plus. You never know with these guys.
What's up, Kirsten? All right, everybody. So today we're going to be talking about UGC and creative testing. This is Mario and Tiffany have had some really good success with some out-of-the-box strategies recently, and they are going to share some of the things that they did with us today. So it's going to be a great learning opportunity. Mario and Tiffany have absolutely smashed it. They smashed it running into Mother's Day. They hit a big winner. They smashed it again going into Father's Day, hit another big winner. And some of their creative testing is really what made the difference. Mario's going to share some big knowledge bombs as far as that goes. So make sure you have your pen and paper handy or your notepad and your fingers ready. It's going to be awesome. But first, before we get into it, we have to start with a toast. So everybody, raise up your glasses, mugs, bottles, and flasks, and join me now for the Digital Marketer's Toast. Here's to more conversions, more cash, cheap CPMs, and lower CACs, to higher CTRs, much higher CVRs, to enabled ad accounts and big bank accounts, upsells, downsells, and cross-sells, to winning products and repeat sells, and the thing that everybody knows, the riches are in the niches, but also your email flows. You ready? Drink.
Cheers.
Cheers.
That is how you kick one of these things off. Am I right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. UGC and creative testing. This is going to be a fun one. But first, as always, let's do some recap of some winners from last week. We have Jagdish. Jagdish is, I'm pretty sure this is the second, or you're like double dipping here. He did $1,000 within 1.5 months, all on Etsy. Congratulations, Jagdish. If you don't already have some swag, I'm pretty sure you do. You'll have some more swag coming. Congratulations, buddy. Then we also have Ed Ellis. First sale through Etsy this morning as he slept. I want to thank Michael and Anna. Show me the way with Coffee with Michael. Congratulations, Ed. Great work on that. I love to see people branching out beyond just Facebook. Facebook's amazing. There's no other place to scale the way Facebook allows you to scale. Like if you want to take a campaign to the moon, Facebook is like the only place to do that kind of thing. But I still love to see people branching out to Etsy, Snapchat, Pinterest, Google Shopping, all these other different places where you can still get good, consistent sales. So congratulations. Great work, Ed. Somebody from my team will reach out and you got some swag coming your way. Lisa here, whoop, whoop, now a member of the 2K Club, soon to be a member of the 3K Club. 34 units sold, $2,200 in profit. Congratulations, Lisa. Way to be. Love to see that. Love to see the persistence as well. Keep at it. Says she's been working her ace off. It's what I like to see. All right. And then finally, We have one here from Jamie. They did $724 in profit, $1,000 in revenue. Fantastic job. Congratulations. Love to see it. Amazing work. Now on for the 5K Club. You've got some swag coming your way. Keep up the great work. Hey, let's give a little round of applause to all of these people for just sticking with it, outlasting your failures, getting your first sale. These are little milestones, but I'm telling you, like, once you get a taste of what is here, you'll never let go of it. It's the opportunity here is truly unbelievable. I say it every week, but like, I really think this is the best entrepreneurial opportunity in the history of the world. There's no other place that this kind of opportunity exists, at least that I'm aware of. So fantastic job, everybody. All right. I tried to get through that pretty quick because Mario has got a lot of really good stuff to share. So Mario, why don't you quick give us a little intro, who you are, what you've done, why people should listen to you, and then we can get into the content here.
Okay. I've been full-time ecom now for about 6 years. I've been running a coaching and mentorship and media buying business for about 2.5 years. And primarily was drop shipping until, I don't know, maybe like 8-9 months ago. And then made the switch to being primarily POD. Found that ShineOn as a fulfillment partner. Sorry, that was a tough word. As a fulfillment partner has been awesome, and it's drop shipping is great, but the operating of a drop shipping business is a real pain in the butt. That said, I made a ton of money last year with it. So did my clients, but I found that the print on demand model leads you with a lot more tools that you're allowed to use to develop a winner. When you're doing a drop shipping product, right? And I've done about 8 figures in drop shipping. Okay, when you're doing a drop shipping product, you're selling the same product as everybody else. No matter what you do, no matter how legitimate you run your business, there's gonna be 100 or 1,000 other people selling that product. Okay, and you could get inventory over and everything. Your page scores are gonna tank. Okay, some really nice quick cash, and if you know what you're doing, you can churn through accounts, you can churn through Facebook pages. There's ways to get around it. Okay, I still teach it, and if somebody wants to scale that business model, I'm all over it. But man, do I like POD a lot better. Less stress, much easier to get somebody their first 6 figures and even first 7 figures without even a tenth of the bumps in the road. Okay, and when you're talking POD, we're talking ShineOn, especially here, because you got a nice $50 profit margin, nice juicy profit margin, and you got all that real estate on that message card, right? So that message card is basically a written sales letter. So you got a lot of different things you can do to develop a product that maybe in its first iteration wasn't a winner. There's a lot of things you can do to develop that into a winning product. But today, what I want to talk about is another technique that works in all e-commerce, which is creative testing. And let's say you're at a break-even product or a small winner, small loss, basically the same thing. You can't scale it. Where you're really going to win out, sure, advanced Facebook strategies help, but where you're really going to win out is by having a creative that's just an absolute game changer. Happened to me in 2016. Somebody tagged a picture on Instagram of the watch I was selling, went from $2,000 a day to $25,000 a day in a week. And I didn't know what I was doing back then either. Okay. And Tiffany will attest, we've had 3 winners with Tiffany: Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. 2 out of those 3, it wouldn't have worked without user-generated content. Or in this case, it's not necessarily like end user as in somebody that bought it, but one of them, and I'll tell you what I did down at the ShineOn office video, and then Tiffany did a bunch of creative testing on this last one and totally knocked through the ceiling on this last one. And we'll get into that in the slides.
Excellent. And by the way, I totally agree with you on the edge that some of this UGC and creative testing can give you. I've seen that in my own campaigns, and I guess we'll save that for later. You got some slides coming up, but it can be a huge game changer. I mean, it can take a campaign where you just have a product that's doing so-so, maybe break even, to being highly profitable and scalable like that, just with the change in the creative. So anyway, man, go ahead.
And especially with something like this, because with POD and with ShineOn, you, for a very brief period of time until everybody copies you, you're the only person in the market selling that exact product. And you're the only person or team in the market selling that product with your special creative. And that's how you can see, we're looking at like 2 or 3 grand days at break even in this picture. And then all of a sudden we're at like a 6 grand day. And that was just when we put the UGC and sort of like halfway through the day. And then 2 days later, we're at a 30 grand day. And the ROAS at 30 grand was like a 3. That's your return on ad spend. Okay. So you put $1 in, you get $3 out, right? Versus the ROAS down at 2 or 3 grand was like around a 2. So it was break even, right? So we increased ROAS at from a 2 grand day from a 2 to a 3 at a 30 grand day in a couple of days.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
so
that's a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. When your volume can scale and your margin scale at the same time, that's pretty freaking incredible.
Yeah, fun, right?
So, yeah, great work. That's awesome, dude. Hey, man, just let me know when you're ready for.
Sure. So this will sort of show you, right? So the day before, this was the first day when Tiffany's in her little studio at home making all these different creatives, pictures, videos, everything she can think of. And then, she finds one that's getting way better KPIs and everything else, key performance indicators, right? We're getting cheaper cost per purchases on it. We're getting better click-through rates. Like everything's looking great. And so we popped that in there. You can literally see when we popped it in on this screen, like about, halfway through the ad account day. And then all of a sudden, we end up doing 6 grand that day at over 3 ROAS, only 2,600 spent. Fast forward a couple days later, and we're at a 30 grand day. It looks like about a 2.9 ROAS, so pretty much a 3 as well. And I think we might have raised prices by that day too, so the margin might have been even better.
That's awesome.
Cool. So this is the 6 months with Team Tiffany right here so far this year. So we got a nice little winner for Valentine's Day. That one actually went down the best creative. And the thing with these events like Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, you have to optimize and get your best creative in a very short period of time so you can scale, right before the cutoff day, right? When it comes to Q4, you got a much longer time to, hopefully, you have a longer time to optimize unless you find your winner a little bit late. And when you're doing evergreen stuff, you have a much longer time to optimize your creatives as well as your ads, just everything about your business. So in this particular case, for Valentine's Day, went down to the ShineOn office, grabbed a message card, and paid one of the girls there $50 to come outside and take some video with me. One of the girls that was packing up for Valentine's Day. Got our SKU out there and just did a whole bunch of raw footage. And I think the footage that won was like a 5-second clip or something where you can just hear my voice going, "Hey, honey, what do you think?" And then it's just her hands with the box open going, "Oh my God, I love it." Right? So we ran that as a video, and that was the winner there, right?
That is freaking awesome, dude. I didn't know you guys did that for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
That is freaking sweet.
I was hoping it'd work because I was using it as an example, like you guys got to test your creatives. And I was using an example live, with Tiffany and her team, as well as, other members of the group. And I'm glad it worked, because then it motivated her to really take the ball and run with it. I mean, because she's got her own studio making content and, forget about it. And that's going to pit me just absolute game changer, for her whole career in ecom.
Man,
right?
that is awesome. So let's make this practical real quick. You could use a sister. You could use a female friend. You could probably use
maybe not in every state, but most states probably.
Yeah. What?
The sister joke. I was just grabbing.
Are you talking about using this to pick up? Is it pickup line? What is it? Pickup artists? I don't know what I'm saying.
Yes.
Mothers, grandmothers, depending on the niche. But you might look. People are going to think you're really freaking weird. So be very careful here. But you might be able to at a coffee shop or something like that. If you're not a creep, find some way to ask somebody to do some video for you. Right. I think this is awesome. That's incredible, man. It's super creative.
Yeah. Okay, so as you guys are looking here, the Mother's Day winner that Tiffany and her team found was sort of late in the game, so we didn't even have time to test UGC. But it's such a powerful message card through testing that we just scaled that one pretty quick. This time we sort of hovered, as you can see, we hovered there in those 2 to 5 grand days, not able to make this thing work. And then she took some pictures and videos. And I don't want to share too much about which one was the winner. I'll let Tiffany talk as much as she wants about that. But one of the creatives she made not only, had better KPIs, twice as good as everything else, but it really showed the value of this particular product. It really upped its true and perceived value to the buyer, and really added to people going with the higher price version of it as well.
That's kind of a unique thing too about some of our products is that you don't have to be scared to get them on video because they are typically higher quality. Like there are some jewelry items from other print-on-demand suppliers where like I'm not so sure I'd feel comfortable doing that. It might fall apart in your hand while you're making the video.
You got to order a couple of them, right?
Yeah, seriously. And add some super glue to kind of reinforce some of the joints and stuff on there. But that is super cool. And I love too, man, you can really see that it was that creative or UGC that really made all the difference. I mean, you were struggling to break through the ceiling here. And then right here, you just take off like a rocket. And so it's the same, I'm asking, it's the same product, same message, all of that. The difference here was just the creative.
The creative, and then obviously we were willing to spend the ad spend on it, right?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But it got profitable, so you weren't scared to spin the ad spend.
That's right.
Right. So like it was the creative really that made all the difference.
100%.
I mean, you can see here where you're struggling, and then over here that looks like a 5 or a 6x on your revenues.
I'm telling you, from a $2,000 day to a $30,000 day, and $2,000 day to $30,000 day in what, 4 days?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, that's incredible. Great freaking work. I love that.
She nailed it with that creative. It was awesome.
That's amazing. Okay. Real quick before you get into this, I just want to say, I've done the same thing with just the creative. Like I had a product, it was scaling for me, but I wasn't like hitting super high numbers. And I took some of my own UGC of it. Now it wasn't video, it was images just with my iPhone. And it literally made all the difference in the world. I mean, I think I went from doing 20, 30K a day to almost 6 figures a day just by taking pictures of the actual image itself. So the creative can make a huge difference in how well the campaign does. So I don't know, man, that's awesome. I love seeing this kind of stuff. Good work, Tiffany.
Thank you, Michael.
All right.
Okay, so what we're looking at here, we'll call it the creative sandbox. I did not coin that term. I grabbed that from a drop shipping course, but it's basically creative testing, right? The only element that you want to be testing is a different creative. So think about everything else. If you guys have ever done, science in high school, everything else is the control group. And the only difference that you're testing is the ad creative itself, the picture, the video. It could be a different primary text headline as well in the Facebook ad. Usually it's going to be a picture or video that really moves the needle. Occasionally it will be the primary text in the headline or the primary text headline of the Facebook ad. And I have had products, especially in drop shipping, where that primary text was the only reason that a product was able to scale, because it was very much like I had one that was like a quote from someone, and it encouraged people to buy multiple, and it also was very much a pain point of 2020. So by having that as the primary text above the Facebook ad picture of this one product last year, that was one time that the headline, the primary text at Facebook moved the needle. But primarily what you're going to want to be testing here is the only variable is pictures and video. Okay. So this is sort of the minimum sort of spend to be able to buy some data in a reasonable amount of time. If you're up against a deadline, like Tiffany was with this one, and you know what you're doing, feel free to spend more than $7 as it shows here per ad set. I think we spent $25 per ad set to buy some data quicker so we could scale, right? But let's say you're in an evergreen niche, or you're just getting started and you don't want your spend to get away from you. We're going to do this example with a $7 budget. Okay. So I like to run this as an ABO campaign purely because I want every ad set spending the exact same amount of money on the exact same days, right? The CBO, Facebook's going to lock into something, right? So in this particular case, we're going to do an ABO campaign. At the ad set level, you're going to choose your best audience, be it a lookalike or an interest, whatever your best audience is for this particular product, okay? And you want to do at least $7 a day. And you want to be testing them on the same days. And so right here you see it says UGC 1, UGC 2, 3, 4, etc. So in the case of Tiffany's winning product, which wasn't a winning product until she did this. It was just a break-even product. I think it must have been 20 or so creatives that I believe we tested at like 25 a day, or you guys tested at 25 a day.
Yeah.
And one or two of them, looked pretty good, and one of them did awesome. Okay, so ABO campaign, identical budget on the same days of your ad set and identical targeting. And the only variable that's different, each of these ad sets, is the creative, the ad level, right? Different picture, different video. If you're doing a video that's like a long video, it could be like a 15-second version, a 5-second version, a 30-second version. If that video has, like 5 or 6 different like features, benefits, sales, pitches in there, you can reorder them and find out which order does the best as well. That's worked out very well for me in the past as well. Yeah.
So, hey man, I got some questions here for you.
Please.
Trying to think through what our audience might have questions about. So what's ETC?
Oh, et cetera. Sorry. So there would be UGCs,
et cetera.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, et cetera, right?
Okay. So, and then you said you tested, did you say 20 different creatives?
Tiffany, give or take, right? Sounds about right.
Yes, about 20, because we were testing a combination of photos and videos. Because we really didn't know what type of creative will actually hit the market and be resonated by the audience. So we wanted to give out as many combinations as possible.
Sure. So you had a product that was already showing some promise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just couldn't break through this kind of ceiling. That's kind of what it looked like in the stats anyway. So then you go and you make 20 unique creatives. Now, you said it's a combination of images and videos. Do you know what the split was?
It's actually about 50-50 because we on the photo side, on the photo side, it's different backgrounds, different way of me, like of my hand holding the product and different hands holding the product. Because I was doing this by myself, so I can only shoot it with one hand or the other, and I want to make sure there is a combination of it depending on people's left-handed or right-handed, and indoor, outdoor, different lighting, and then very similarly with videos too. And then with videos, I wanted to have some more raw videos of just my hand holding it and flipping it back and forth at different angles. And then others I had actually, more of a tripod set up, and I was able to manipulate the product with both hands. So it really, whatever I can throw at the creative, that's what I did.
Okay, awesome. And so you said almost 20 of these. So you're running these ad sets. The ad sets have the same interests. It's one ABO campaign. All the ad sets are in the one ABO campaign. You're running each of the ad sets to the same interest, and you had a $25 budget on each ad set just because you're trying to get data a little faster, right? And then when it came to the actual creative itself, everything was the same except the image or the video.
Correct. And different images and different videos.
Yeah, right. So really the only variable was the image or the video in
Correct.
Each of the ad sets. Okay, great. And so you just let that run for a day, and then you analyzed results.
Yes.
And I assume, is that what we're looking at here, these results from that? Or
Sure. This is, I got a couple different examples, one from Tiffany's project, and then the next slide will be somebody else that I literally just started this with. So we'll get to that. And that person already had a brand. So we're talking about all sorts of creative we can start testing, right? So that's really cool. All right. So in this particular example, I would say, especially if you're doing the $7 a day, like I was showing in that other slide, I wouldn't say just run it one day. You want to run it until it gets to, set a rule, until it gets to your break-even point, or until it gets to half a break-even. It just really depends on your budget and how many creatives you're running. But you want to buy a few days worth of data. And then also, these creative sandbox are in a winning product. They usually end up being one of your more profitable campaigns because you're testing a bunch of new things. Facebook loves the campaign, and you can just start upping the budget within the creative sandbox too, because why not? It's working as an ABO scaling strategy. You might as well just keep upping the budget and duplicating and making maybe even small variations to your current winning creative. And then your whole creative testing not only breaks even, but you make money on it. So that's cool. So if you look at this slide here, you can see I sorted it by results. You can see just looking at the cost per purchase line to the right of results. You can see, I think we were getting auto bid purchases for somewhere in like the high 30s before she did this creative testing. And as you can see, we got a couple different creatives that are in the 20s. We got 2 that are right at 20, and one of those that sort of took off. So what you want to do at that point, once you find a creative that's getting you much better cost per purchase than everything else, you want to go ahead and grab that post ID and duplicate it right into your scaling campaigns, or start brand new scaling campaigns with that, and just crank up the budget and then go for a ride.
Nice, man. So what's this one? So was this Tiffany here?
This is Tiffany's creative sandbox from this Father's Day run. Right.
Oh, I see. So we're looking at the ad set. So each one of these. So this is exactly what we're seeing here, right? So
$25, right?
Exactly. So each one of these is a different creative, right? And I see that some of these have $35 budgets, $75, $200. I assume you were stress testing the creative maybe a little bit, and you started raising budgets, or what's going on there?
It comes back to, you might as well scale it, right? So they all started at 25, but then sort of like, to use a pun or something, let's say go ahead and feel free to play around in your sandbox, right? So if things are working, try a couple different scaling strategies in there. You might as well, because you're going to make a profit off of it, and you're building social proof to that ad, and you're feeding more data to that post ID. So now when you put it into your scaling campaigns, if you've got a couple different ads at the creative level of a scaling campaign, Facebook's going to really try to spend most of it on the creative it knows. But the more money you spend from the get-go, and the better results and the more momentum what these new creative have, you can still have multiple creatives at your ad level, your scaling campaign, and Facebook's going to let this thing get its fair chance and start spending the right amount of money on it too.
Yeah, nice, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
cool, man. So Tiffany, how much work was this?
Actually, it was a lot of work. I don't doubt or don't kid yourself. One thing I definitely appreciate is all the stock photos that ShineOn gave us. They looked obviously really professional. It wasn't until I started taking photos on my own I realized just how much work goes into each photo and how many photos you have to throw away to get that perfect shot. So all of these photos and videos, it took me about on and off a day together. And I shot it in 2 separate locations. So I shot it in my house, inside the house, outside the house, front yard, backyard, and then even went to my parents' house and shot it inside their house and outside their house. And then part of it, I had my mom hold it, and the other, some other creatives, I had my dad hold it. So it's a family affair.
Nice. You like conscripted the family there. But so it was like 1 day of work plus, the testing and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, how much revenue did you end up doing on this?
It's at like $1.90 now or something. They're still getting sales. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I assume your margins were what? 25%, 30%, somewhere around there, maybe. Yeah. So it was worth it.
Right. Facebook's underreporting, by the way, on this too, because of the whole iOS thing. So if you see a $20 cost per purchase, more likely it's probably a 14. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, 1 day's worth of work plus all the testing. You don't want to, undervalue that. Plus the time in the campaigns. But I mean, it sounds like you made 25, 30, 35 grand. Plus it's still kind of bringing in some sales for you. So totally freaking worth it.
Absolutely. And honestly, I'm going to do it all the time for every product now. It's part of our discovery process. We, as Mario mentioned back in Valentine's Day, he did it for us. And we saw the spike of our product going from just a normal image or even like a simple, even with a luxury box versus what he did on the creative side, that just short ad or short video made a huge difference. Again, Mother's Day, we didn't have the time. So this time we were, we believed in the product and we were losing money and barely making breaking even. We're thinking, gosh, this has so much potential. What can we do? What can we do that's different? What can we do to really show it off? Because as much as the stock photo looks good, it wasn't until honestly I got the sample product in my hand and I opened the box, which is the normal paper box. And I didn't realize the product actually came with a black velvet pouch. And that was not something featured on the product page or anywhere on ShineOn. So that was a nice addition, and I was able to feature that in the video as well. And by just hand holding the product, I felt the weight, I felt the color, and just really what it felt and looked like. And it actually had so much more higher perceived value than what it really was on the photos and on the stock photos, on the stock videos. So I think really the product itself obviously also came through from my videos and photos because it was a quality, and it is a quality product.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Good work. That's so freaking cool. I love to see you. You're just knocking it out of the park.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is this one, Mario?
Okay, so this is another member of the ShineOn community that just we just started working together maybe a week or so ago, and he's got an awesome brand, and I can't wait to play around with everything that he's got. But long story short, he's got something like 1,000 looks reviews with pictures of people wearing or using his favorite product, his best-selling product. So what we simply did here is he's going to have probably, by the time this thing's done, he's going to have hundreds and hundreds of pieces of UGC in this sandbox. And by doing that, I hope to be able to triple his brand by finding a couple of good creatives and then just, scaling them to the moon. So this is after just, after a week of playing around, just testing some new creatives. And I think the best one so far is like a user submitted picture, and then he zoomed in on it so you can really see the product better. And that zoomed in version did better than the first iteration. So that comes back to sort of playing around in your creative sandbox. Don't feel like, okay, so you got something that's working. Don't feel like that first iteration of it's your only chance it's going to work, right? Think about different ways that you could improve upon it. Test 5 different, second phase ideas in your creative sandbox when you have the time, right? When you're up against the gun, you just got to find that creative and scale and hit your target. But, in this particular case where he's making sales year round and looking for the best creatives for Q4, he's got the time, a luxury of time to be able to test creative after creative after creative. And then, as you can see, it's actually doing community building for him within his brand. So now that he's posting UGC in his paid ads instead of just sort of like a stock photo, people are commenting in his ads with their own uploaded content. Yeah. And so that's actually even better. So don't, when you're at scale and maybe you got VAs doing your moderation or something of your Facebook page, get in there and check for comments, because there was, I had a 7-figure dropshipping product early last year that had I not just sort of perused through the comments, I wouldn't have found this wonderful 5-second video of a woman demonstrating the product that ended up being our winner in a big way. So this, this user-generated content, in this case, this is truly user-generated content because he's built a brand over the years. His looks is asking them for a review. They're sending in a review with a picture of themselves with the product. And now he's got all that UGC to test in his ads, which then brand builds even more and snowballs, as he said right here, into even more UGC being submitted. So this is, this is much easier work at this point. Granted, he's putting in all the hard work to build the brand. And when Tiffany has herself multiple branded stores and the niches of her choice, she'll be able to have the luxury of time and to do stuff like this to get more UGC into her ecosphere, if you will.
Man, when you can get your customers to create the UGC for you,
yep,
that's pretty freaking incredible.
Quit my job off of a picture a 16-year-old kid took in Germany in 2016.
That's awesome, dude.
Tagged me in an Instagram picture. I was doing free plus shipping watches. Tagged me in a picture of the watch, put it in my ads. 25 grand days. Quit the job a week later.
That's awesome, dude.
Yep. Give him $100 for the rights to it.
We're going to get into Q&A. Whatever questions you guys have about UGC or the testing process or whatever it is, start dropping them in the comments now. There's about a 30-60 second delay between us and you. So just drop them all in there, and then I'll start kind of combing through them, and we'll feed them to Mario and Tiffany. But before we get to all of that, let's see, what's the best kind of view here for us? That one. I have some questions just about the practicalities of this, because I too have seen the amazing power of having good UGC. There are two occasions in particular where it was a complete game changer for me. One was with a ShineOn product. It was a jewelry piece, and I took a picture of it, and it was actually not a picture I intended to use in ads, but I just decided, what the hey, I'm going to test with it anyway. Honestly, it was an awful picture. You know, Tiffany, you were talking about getting it just right to like show off the quality. No, that was the opposite of what I did. I took a horrible picture. This thing scaled to the freaking moon on me. It was unbelievable how well this picture did. So if you've ever heard the phrase ugly sells, like this made me a believer because it freaking sold super well after that. I was even able to raise the base cost of the product by $10, and the picture was horrible. Like I don't know how to explain how bad this picture was. So anyways, there was that time. It made a huge difference to me. And by the way, I think part of the reason that worked is just because people could clearly tell it was not produced. I think that's why that particular UGC image just did so freaking well for me. Then there was another time where there was a individual that I knew that had a kind of niched product. I'm trying to think of how to, without giving her product away. It was a niched product. She was not a marketer. Like, she just did not know how to sell. And it was in the middle of the pandemic, and I knew her product would find find an audience because it was just niched really well for the pandemic. And so I instructed her to just take her iPhone and film, make a really quick video of her just kind of showing the product, right? It was about all it was. So she was totally skeptical, by the way. She makes this 10, 15-second video kind of showing the product. I took it, threw some music onto it that was in public domain, put it up on Facebook, and we sold 5,000 units. I mean, she went from like selling a handful a day to doing, and she fulfilled them all herself too. So she was about ready to kill me, to 5,000 in a month, right? And it completely changed her business. And after that, I got kind of I had to go work on some other stuff for ShineOn. And she went on and hired an agency, and she's done well over $1 million, still running that same UGC for it's well over a year now. It's something like 14, 15 months now. She's been running this one video. She's done well over $1 million in revenue on that creative alone. So, you know, Mario, I feel like one of the big messages here of today's little training is the creative can make a huge difference. I mean, it literally can. Obviously, you need to have a bomb product. 100%. The product is like the foundation of the campaign, but your creative can kind of like decide the fate of whether or not you just kind of struggle with break even or actually move into profit. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the practicalities around the creatives. Both the stories I just shared, the anecdotes, those were done with this right here. Just cheap little iPhone, no professional equipment. It didn't take a lot of time. I wasn't doing tons of takes. You said on Valentine's Day, you found somebody, gave him $50, had him walk outside with you. Was that an iPhone, or did you have a nice camera, or what did that look like?
This cracked freaking $200 Android phone I got here.
It's totally accessible. Anybody can. Did you pop it into Photoshop and run it through production? Did you do anything like that?
We cut it up into different versions. Some with like a call to action at the end, right? So you get your good UGC, and maybe it's a 5-second, 10-second video that's doing the best raw. So try different versions of it with an end screen that says, last chance, made in America, $10 off, shop now. See if the raw UGC does better, or the UGC with like an end screen and a call to action. And there's actually a style of ads. There was a nice presentation at Mastermind that Eric was at last weekend as well. And on the presenters, Max, who's a well-known marketer, was talking about calling it's UGC but native. And so some of the bigger brands right now, their UGC's gotten a little bit burnt out because they're at such a high scale. Really not a problem for us in the multiple six figures, even multiple seven figures as much. But when you sort of own a market as a brand, you're going to want to try a UGC video, but sort of like with a commercial within a commercial, right? So it's a UGC, and then it'll have the commercial, and then it'll have a little like some scrollers across the top. So there's the raw UGC, there's the raw UGC with a great thumbnail, and sometimes it's the raw UGC and it comes in like all blurry, and that one outperforms the one with like the nice thumbnail. You got to test every kind of variation of it, and the deeper you get into this testing, you want to make sure your naming conventions don't get too confusing. So you want to be like, UGC 5, thumbnail 2, headline 3, or something like that, right? Or UGC 5 zoomed, headline 2, thumbnail 4, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah, so you just used a phone, is what you said. What software do you use to cut the video?
Oh, I'm not sure what Tiffany used on that one. I gave them all the raw footage.
Oh, you gave her all the raw footage?
Yeah, I mean, within my team, my sister will usually use the app InShot. It's just a phone app.
That's just an iPhone app. I've used that.
Yeah, or Android. It's on both. It makes it really
Yeah. So Tiffany, what do you use to edit the video?
Actually, I'm not sure. I gave it to my VA. I'm not a tech person. Honestly, this is my iPhone. This is my iPhone 10, and I do everything on it. So I am not technical enough to even edit a photo, and that's what VAs are for.
And I think if I remember back to Valentine's Day, I kept giving you guys like ideas like, give me a 5-second version of like second 2 through 7, and give me a 15-second of this and that, and we sort of like just. You sort of play with as many ideas as possible, and then you get them out there.
Right. And so, when Mario gave us those instructions, I just passed it right on to our VA and said, this is what we need. Please give us, this combination.
Yeah. So for anybody out there that, maybe doesn't have a VA or is just getting started, I've got 3 kind of resources for you on the video editing. So one is InShot, like Mario said. I believe there's a free version of that, but there's also a really cheap kind of paid version of that. You can get on your iPhone. You can literally edit videos on your iPhone, which is pretty freaking incredible. You can even do that these days. The second thing is, actually, I'm going to give you 4. The second thing is I've used a tool called Animoto on the internet before. You just go to animoto.com. I think it's ANIMOTO.com. And there's like a version in there that's $5 a month. And you can edit videos in there. You can add tracks to it. It's got a full suite of tools. It renders it for you right there on the website. It's actually super accessible, especially when you're new to video editing and everything. So you can use that. That's super helpful. A little bit more advanced is a tool called Camtasia. That one's paid. I think it's like $200 a year. And then there's another one called Adobe Premiere. Now, each of those is kind of one level up in complexity to the others. If you're brand new to this, highly recommend start out with InShot or Animoto. You don't need one of the more advanced tools, especially for what we're talking about here. So Tiffany, over to you real quick. So you said you took a bunch of photos. You ordered samples, right? And then you were taking a bunch of photos to try out different, I'm guessing some of those were staged and more semi-studio shots. Some of them were like pure UGC where the box is open, the hands there and all of that.
Yes.
Were you using a DSLR? Were you with your iPhone? What did that look like?
iPhone, and everything was done on my iPhone 10. The only thing is some of the more like studio looking shot, I would put the iPhone on a tripod, and I got this on Amazon. It's a tripod. It comes with a little remote control. So once you have it on, all you have to do is switch things out. I don't have to touch the phone. I just click on the remote control. It takes the picture or takes the video. So that's as tech as I get on that front. And partially, I don't really want to spend the time to learn the SDR and all the ins and outs. I'm not a professional photographer. And, if I really want to go with a high-end photo, I would use what ShineOn provided. It's actually sufficient enough. This is something that I wanted to make that's slightly different, gives a different angle, maybe different lighting. But one thing I'm finding out more and more is I actually ordered 2 separate light boxes and had, gone to the craft store and bought flowers and this and that. But at the end of the day, the best received so far are the ones that are just taken by my hand on the phone. Yep. It looks like, I could be in the car, I could be out on the lawn, I could be in the backyard, sitting in a chair, whatever it is. It's the everyday life that people really grab onto because they can relate. When if it's a more processed photo, more staged background, it does look like a campaign. It does look like an ad.
Yeah.
But I'm just doing everyday life, and it's my floor, it's my it's my counter. It looks like just an in-home.
Yeah, that's a golden nugget right there. That there's something about those photos that make it authentic, right? Like it's not staged. Like it feels like a photo a customer would take. It feels like when you're in Amazon.com shopping a product and you go down to little customer photos, it feels like those. The crappy ones with bad lighting showing a product in somebody's freaking bedroom or something like that. It feels like that. The photos I've had success with, I have one that literally every product I have that starts to scale, I take I call a parking lot shot, where I literally go out to a parking lot with blacktop and I just hold it over the parking lot and I take a picture with cars in the background and everything, because it's just, there's something, and literally, by the way, every single time I've taken one of those, it's been profitable, right? Now, that's not to say it's like a fairy dust that you're going to be able to sprinkle on your campaign and turn a losing product into a winner. I've only gone through the effort of taking UGC when I've had a product showing promise, right? But I'm just saying, like, those types of photos do incredibly well. So that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. And I do actually, let me insert one little comment. I do remember, like, months ago, you had given us the example of you took that photo in really crappy lighting and almost half blurry, and it did really well, where your wife took the time to stage it up on the Christmas tree and professional camera, beautiful lighting. It's like a professional photo. And it just didn't have any real hits. So now, even when I'm taking my own UGCs, if it's a little blurry or if it's not perfect, I actually save it. I'm a perfectionist, so it kills me not to give photos that is or are perfect. But now I purposely save them and will give it, to my VA, and then give it to Mario, so we have a good selection to pick.
That's awesome. So was there anything else with this? So it sounds like for Father's Day, it was a video, like it wasn't still image, it was a video. Was there anything else about the video or the product that you felt like was kind of a game changer that made it work really well?
I think the realization of what the product is and how it feels like on my hand and in person. I think I'm kind of cutting out a little bit here. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
Okay. So I think because I see myself as an end user, if I wanted to buy this necklace for myself or my mom, or this, bracelet for my best friend, I wanted to test them on myself. I want to wear it. I want to feel it. I want to touch it. And I actually wear it out just so I can experience that for myself. So when I got the product, it was actually more quality than I expected. And to me, I had the pride of selling that product to somebody else, because I know when it lands in their hand, in their mailbox, when they hold that box and wrap it, whatever, give it to their loved one, they're going to have that same pride.
So it sounds like you're saying that, like, you weren't afraid to like really get close in on it, good lighting, show it off in the camera, whatever it was, and really show off the quality of the product.
Yes, correct. And I think, as you stand behind the company, and now that I see the product, I feel it, I can stand behind the product itself. So when I'm selling it, I have more confidence. I can do better customer service. I know what I'm selling to our customers are quality products, and I'm proud of that. And I know when they hand it out as a gift, they can be proud. And I think that emotion, that pride comes through. It can come through my videos, photos. It can come through our ad copies even.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that's freaking awesome. All right, so we have some questions here stacking up. I'm going to get to those. I want to recap this whole process real quick. Mario, Tiffany, you make sure I get this right for everybody out there. So it sounds like you did this. You tested a bunch of designs and products, right? Then you had one that was kind of the fish were biting. right? It was doing some stuff for you. It was, maybe not profitable, but break even. You were getting some sales, right? You knew something was there. Then you went to the next step to you're trying to optimize your campaign to profitability, right? And this is where you started testing your creatives. And the first thing you tested before ad copy, headlines, price, all this other stuff, the first thing you tested were the images and video, right? Am I right so far?
Yes.
Okay. And then what you did was you did this, where am I at? You did this here, right? So what you did was you ran an ABO campaign. Well, Tiffany had a bunch of work, first of all, because she had to go take all the pictures. So I assume she ordered samples, something like that, from ShineOn. We got her some samples. She went and took a bunch of pictures of the product. She took UGC videos of the product as well. And then you structured it like this. You had one ad set budget optimization campaign. You had a bunch of ad sets in there, all with the same target audience, right, and the same budget. So you guys ran $25 a day. So Tiffany said there were about 20 of these, right, in your campaign in particular. And the only thing different between the ads and the ad sets, the only difference was the image or the video that was in the ad or the ad set. And then you let that run for more than one day. You let it run to like your break-even point or something like that, right? And then you analyze the results kind of at the end of your little test run. You see which ones are doing good for you. You duplicate them out of your creative sandbox, right, into your scaling campaigns, and then you took it to the moon. Is that about right?
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, you nailed it. I'm so glad you did a recap. I've got a feeling I was going to have to individually explain that 200 times. Thank you for that.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of moving parts here.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you recapping that. I don't know. Sometimes I have trouble explaining it that well. So thank you. That was great.
Yeah, so if anybody's still lost after that, you'll be watching this video in the future. You can pause it and rewind and I'll listen to that all over again.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Okay, let's look at some of these questions here. Bear with me here. It's going to take me a second. Let's see. I've dealt with crap, but I love ShineOn, so sparkly and classy. Has iOS 14 impacted you? Doesn't look like it, but let's hear it.
Yes, it can be a problem. I think we probably would have gotten up to like 50 grand days, but there was massive iOS adoption that week. And so
you're right.
Massive adoption that week, right? So the algorithm's got to heal. It's got to adjust. I mean, it lost half of its data. So it's a thinking computer. It'll figure it out. But in general, spend more time optimizing the quality of your products, the quality of your creatives. Run less campaigns because you can't trust your attribution, right? So a lot of these strategies, in my personal opinion, everybody has their own methods, and I'm not trying to crap on any. In my personal opinion, you can't run a ton of small budget stuff and trust your attribution, right? Let's say you ran like, $25 ad sets or something. One of them might show 2 or 3 purchases, one of them might show none. Statistically speaking, it's just as likely the one that showed 2 or 3 got none, and another one, and then 2 other ones got 1 because the attribution's off. Okay, so you want to simplify things as much as possible. You want to, in your scaling campaigns, simplify those as well, because just for the reasons I said before, because you want to have a better, you want to be able to do a little bit of guessing, do a little bit of best guess. The good thing about it is, when you are scaling a winner, Facebook doesn't know about a third or 40% of your sales right now, and so you can get some higher ROAS. The thing
they're not sending you junk traffic.
Yeah, well, because they don't know that they can give you better traffic than they meant to, right? Like, I feel like the algorithm's job, it feels like is to keep you at a 2 ROAS at all times once you start scaling. Okay, so like I've often used different strategies to get around that. Right now, you know that you're getting a cheaper cost per purchase if you're just scaling. In a couple campaigns, you get best guess. But if you have way too much, complicated ad structure, and you're not doing hundreds of thousands a month and able to afford, third-party tracking with your own first-party pixel stuff that's like out of my realm, keep it simple. Work on the things that you can beat out the competition with, which are making, better products, better iterations of those products, and better creatives, which is, the topic of today's talk. Right?
Yeah, and before anybody freaks out, look, it's all kind of, no one really knows how the algorithm works. What Mario said is about, Facebook's job keeping you at 2 ROAS. It's kind of theory. Nobody really knows if they're doing that. But if you put yourself in Facebook's shoes and you try to think of how they're incentivized, they probably want to keep you as close to break even at all times as they can. They just want you making enough money to keep spending money. They don't want you to be able to scale something to the moon. But anyways, nobody knows if they're really mad scientists back there pulling the levers on the machine or not. But anyways, that is a concern. All right, let's keep going here. 20 creatives for one product. Wow. Not really a question, but I do think it's kind of worth mentioning because you did put in the work to find this. And like when we were looking at your results, there are only 2 or 3 out of the 20 that seemed to stand out to me when we were looking at the results. And you had the one that was the major winner, right? So do you have anything to comment related to that?
I'll say one thing. Average, if you do the average amount of effort, you're going to get average results. You go the extra mile and you're going to reap the rewards.
Sure. The difference between good and great is 5% in most cases, right? It's like just going a little bit further than the guy next to you. It's not really that difficult. But so, I mean, Tiffany, you mentioned that you're going to do this now going forward for everyone, right? So you're going to run through this process every time. So clearly it was worth the time and the effort to do.
Absolutely. And one thing I do have to say is, when I did some photo UGCs and back in Valentine's Day, during Valentine's Day, and didn't get a chance to for Mother's Day, and then now doing it again, doing it the second time, it gets easier, faster, and better. I don't have to think so hard. I don't have to take so long to take a shot. I don't have to worry about taking that perfect shot. So, I actually relate back to what Anna Beck said a couple calls ago. Yes, it was a lot of time. It was a lot of effort. No doubt about it. But if you're willing to do what others are not willing to do, you're going to get where others are not going to get. And she really 100 times double down, triple down, 100 times down on her effort. And that's why she had the results that she had. And that's what we're trying to do from a different angle. So to me, this is part of my job. This is part of the process. And I'm just incorporating that process. And I'm grateful for having found this little secret, so to speak, secret, but not so secret. So if it's part of my job, it's part of my daily routine, then it doesn't seem so much work anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome. By the way, I saw in Anna's group the other day, she said that her goal is to make 15,000 listings by the end of the year. And I was just like, holy crap. But it underscores the effort though. Like, because if she hits even 10% of that goal, she's going to be a major winner this year. Just at 10% of the goal. Imagine if she actually hits 15,000 listings this year. That'll be insane.
She's my new hero.
She'll hit it. Yeah, no doubt. Yep.
All right. Here's a question. Do you scale from David? Do you scale making a new ad set or duplicate the ad set and add more budget?
Usually, new campaigns for scaling. I like to scale with CBOs, auto bids, and a combination of manual bids with some on cost cap, some on bid cap. So this goes back to iOS. So post iOS, I'm seeing, if anybody does manual bidding, I'm seeing the 1 day click doing a lot better for at least for these, sub $100 products than the 7 day. Like normally I would go 7 day attribution for a while and then start testing 1 day, but I'm going to 1 day click a lot sooner for scaling now. So that's another thing. You're gonna get a little bit more accurate, and especially if you're manual bidding, you'll be able to hit your spot where you get your traffic quicker with 1 day click now.
Yeah, so you test in the creative sandbox. Then when you find your winner, you duplicate that into your scaling campaign.
Well, if we're going to talk the whole process, it's going to be a CBO testing strategy of all the different products, very much like you teach. Okay, very similar, right? I'm doing like 25 a day per product, maybe 2 or 3 ad sets, a little bit of minimum spend on each of them, right? Go to $50 and then evaluate the KPIs. Okay, say you test 10 products, 9 of them stink, you turn them off, right? one of them like is looking pretty good. So now I'll do a phase 2 test where I'll test 5 or 10 iterations of that product. I might change the background color. I might put in different quotes. I might take that.
Talking about the design.
Blank, right? At this point, we're still at the design phase, right? So that you're still in that case, you're developing a winning product. Sometimes your first iteration of a product is the winner, and then it's got a life of its own, which is great. Cool. So then I test ABO for the creative sandbox when we have either a winner or something that's breaking even and has a lot of potential, right? It's a big audience. It's potentially at scale of $2 to $5 grand, and we're just not getting consistency. And it's that creative as well as some optimization hitting at a sweet spot that allows you to go from a couple hundred or a couple thousand a day to 20, 30 grand days very fast.
Yeah, that's awesome. This goes back to something I've said it many, many times before, but if anybody's new here, you want to write this down. Profitable campaigns are not launched. They are built, right? Like, it's very rare that you are just going to turn a campaign on and it is just going to be massively profitable for you out of the gate. Like, you have to launch, you have to buy data, you have to analyze the data, you have to apply tweaks and optimizations to it, and you optimize your way to profitability. That is the journey of any successful marketer. So anyway, all right. Another question: budget required for testing and scaling. So, like, you kind of just commented on some of that there. So, what do you say? $25 to $50 to test? I couldn't recall.
Oh, for me, and $50 a product, over 2 days, and then analyze it. Right. So $25 a day for 2 days in a CBO. Right.
And then you're making decisions based on that, whether or not to move to a phase 2 where you start to do something different with the design, or you just turn it off.
Sure. So, or you let it go because all right, well, looks I can't decide yet, right? It's still, you got one sale, but the click-through rate's not phenomenal or something, or it's a winner from Jump Street. It's got 3 sales on your first $30 in spend. So now you got to duplicate it into a higher budget to see if it'll maintain those kind of good KPIs when you're spending, like 150 or 250 a day on it, right? So back to your budget, it's kind of what you can afford. So it comes more down to how many products can you afford to test per week. Okay. So let's say in my case, I think $50 buys you it's about as cheap as it can get to buy you some data to make any conclusions. Okay. So that's over a 2-day period. So 2 days at 25. So if you want to test 5 per week, you should have testing budget at $250. Now, as you get better at your niche, and especially if you're testing into, a massive buying event, it's not going to lose $250. You might lose $250 your first week. You might even lose $250 your second week. But as you get better at this, your testing gets very close to break even. And once you've had some winners, sure, then you're dipping into the profits a little bit for the testing. But sure, it's painful in the beginning, especially if you're off the mark. It can be pain. The testing part can be painful, but honestly, it just, that's where you got to be stubborn. You just got to. It's not, hey, how much money am I willing to lose in e-commerce before I quit? That attitude never works. It's, I'm doing e-commerce as a side business and maybe a full-time business at some point in my life. And no matter how many weeks it takes for me to test, I'm going to continue to test and learn until I'm profitable. And that's the attitude that's the only way you won't win is if you don't adopt that attitude.
Yeah, seriously, like, let's put this in perspective here. First of all, I'd say it all the time. You have to outlast your failures here because there's a learning curve, right? And you have to last long enough to get over the curve or you're not going to see success, right? And that takes some time. Another thing is you're going to have to get kind of comfortable with the pain of spending some money and not necessarily seeing results. But you have to have this mindset change where you got to stop telling yourself you're losing money and instead start telling yourself you're buying data. Yeah. Like, there's a big,
you're paying rent. Like, yeah, try to open a brick and mortar business and
seriously,
you don't think you're gonna have bills every day, every week? I mean, give me a break. Like, this is $50 $25 a day to potentially become a millionaire. Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
like,
you know what?
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
Contrast it too with like a college education.
Right.
I mean, there are people that will spend $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 on a college education, and sometimes won't even go into the field that they majored in. Right. But they see that's a no-brainer decision for a lot of people. Like, that's obvious.
For some reason,
$1,000 or $2,000 on testing some designs. It could literally change your life.
Right. And then there's the stress is just like, I get it. I see it all the time. I experienced a little bit of it maybe 6-7 years ago. It's something weird in your brain. Like you did all this work to launch or God forbid you made the design yourself and you're emotionally invested in it and nobody bought it. And I spent $30. Why didn't anybody buy it? This doesn't work. Right. Yeah.
So look, Mario, you're a coach too, right? So I'm curious, when you get a new student and they ask you like or you're trying to set expectations for them, maybe, sure. How many designs do you tell them they should expect to test before they kind of lock into a winner? How do you handle that conversation?
I give them some examples of somebody that hit quick and somebody that didn't hit very quickly. I'll give an example of somebody that took forever for them to hit, but they were stubborn enough to hit. And then I'll give an example of somebody that, like, frankly, if you hit a winner too quick, you're not going to understand how much testing it might take you to hit your second winner. And I've seen this too. I've seen people go to 7 figures, very quickly, and they barely had to test anything, or they bought a store and then, scaled it, with my help. And then they never tested another thing again ever in their life, even though they had 1 7-figure product. So ideally, when you're first testing, you take just the right amount of pain so you respect it, and then you hit your winner and you really respect it, right? And then you want to make the most out of it. But you can't really put a number on it. Some people hit a winner after 15. Some it takes 100. And then also there's a lot of people out there in this community. I'm sure you guys have had products you could have developed into winners. Like anybody that's been testing could have had products they could have developed into a winner, but they might have just been very black and white in their thinking that, didn't work, kill it. Well, you bought that data, so make some conclusions, right? Okay, so it kind of almost worked. Was it the quote that was the stronger part? Was it the graphic design? Was that helping or hurting it? Let's say I have 10 losers in, mom to daughter, and I try, 3 of the same audiences and all 10 losers. Well, which of those audiences did the best? Right. So now my second iteration of 10 products, maybe I have 9 losers and 1 maybe, and I know which audience I can trust that one audience is stronger to my kind of quotes, to my angles of quotes. So each iteration, you really have to learn from the data that you bought, whether you bought it at a small loss, total loss, or at a profit.
It's school. So Tiffany, I'm curious, like your perspective on a lot of this, because, Mario's kind of doing the coaching. I've been in this game for a number of years now. What's your perspective on, the test? Like, by the way, congratulations, you hit a winner for Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. What is it like to go through this process every single time? I'd love to hear from you on this.
You have to have a strong heart, first of all, because there was no guarantee. There was no guarantee going into Valentine's Day at the beginning of it that I was going to, or my team were going to hit anything. And going into Mother's Day, we had that conversation where we're just completely on the low end of our emotional spectrum, where we put so much work and money into it and there was no results, and we had no expectation for Father's Day. So I think part of it is luck, but a lot of it is preparation, and a lot of it is also research. I think at the end of the day, everything that came out of it it's definitely knowing our target audience and getting the quote. We didn't know if the right quote is or what the right quote is, but we are not afraid to test as many as our budget will allow. And for us, this is a life or death situation. I do not, this is my full-time job. I do not want to go back to a 9-to-5. I don't have a backup plan. I don't have plan B. So it's either plan A is going to work or plan A is going to work.
Burn the boat.
Exactly. And burn the boat, burn the bridge, burned everything behind me. I have to move forward. So I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make that work. And it doesn't guarantee that I will have the next big success, but I will work towards that. So, but definitely on the testing side, having Mario right next to me and to my team is helpful, because he's able to help us leverage and gather data and analyze data and, if I was doing this on my own, I probably wouldn't be spending hundreds and sometimes thousands and sometimes now tens of thousands of dollars a day on testing. But because he's there to kind of give me that buffer, I know he's got me. I have the level of confidence to say, all right, let's spend the money. I feel like I spend money like this, but it's definitely, it's a learning process, and it's making me less afraid to spend money, because the more money I have spent, the more data I'm collecting, the more mature my pixel is getting. I do remember months ago, you had this graphics of a baby that is in the pixel kind of graphics. It's like, okay, your pixel is a baby, and then you have to nourish it with, this and that. And instead of throwing money at it, which it's pretty much the same thing, you got to throw milk and formula and whatever to let that baby grow. So I'm not afraid to throw money with the right guidance into it and test as many SKUs, as many backgrounds and fonts and messages as I can possibly afford, and until I hit a winner. So, it is definitely out of my comfort zone. I've never spent money this fast, but I've never had this level of success. So, it all comes together, right? And
yeah, that's
no gain. A lot of it is very nerve wracking. I kid you not.
Let's talk about that real quick. So one of those days I saw, I think your ad spend was like, did I see $12,000 one day?
It was like 13 for that 30 grand day. Yeah.
$13,000. So what was it like dropping $13,000 into a virtual slot machine in a single day? What was that like?
I feel like the biggest gambler in the world. I live in Vegas, so that actually really hits home. I kid you not, I feel like one of those high rollers where, the casino says, oh, fly here, we'll fly you for free, we'll just put you up in the suite. We'll
Facebook won't do that.
Exactly.
Don't get your hopes up.
But literally, I'm just, burning cash through the casino floor. Yeah. And it does feel that way. But on the other hand, again, with Mario, being by my side, I feel a level of confidence and level of comfort. So I can spend that money with ease. And then, even on the money management side, we had to really shuffle money around because I don't have that kind of cash just sitting around. And then I have to Mario really strategized with our team to, how do you increase the credit card limit? How do you pay it off? How do you, give multiple credit cards? So all that comes as part of this scaling strategy. And I think we talked about it.
The whole system here, yeah.
Yep. And then it's even more apparent this time.
And it from your the charts there that showed how much you scaled, it didn't look like you ever got throttled by Facebook on your ad spend. Like, they'll usually cap you out at $500 a day, and then at is it 1,000, and then at 5,000, and so on. You didn't hit any of that. So
we were throttled at 5. The Mother's Day run, we wanted to spend a lot more than we could, so they throttled us at 10,000 because we did like the whole 110,000 in like less than a week or something, right? And we could have done $250,000 if we were able to spend more. The tracking was better back then too, so if I'd had the budget to do the manual bids how I wanted, we could have spent. I think we could have done 100 grand days from Mother's Day.
It sucks because it takes like 1 or 2 days for them to turn that around sometimes.
Take my money. Take the money.
I know, it's insane. It is insane. Yeah. Like, there's never been a company in the history of the world that puts up so many barriers between like them and customers so eager to just dump truckloads of cash into their lap. It's insane.
I've never been so eager to spend money and spend so much so fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. So look, let's this is probably, we're probably reaching a good point to kind of wrap this up. Let me ask, Father's Day is behind us. It's kind of a long stretch between now and the next like big holidays kind of with in Q4 really. What are you guys going to focus on here during the summer and into fall?
My partner and I and our team, we're starting our Etsy store. We do want to, be able to get some sales organically. Facebook is great, but is definitely expensive. So if we can get some more evergreen
Just
sales,
diversifying and yeah.
exactly. And we are looking into niching down because it's great that we have the store right now, but our pixel is now trained for Valentine's Day, husband to wife, boyfriend to girlfriend, and then daughter to mom, son to mom, and now son and daughter to dad. So we're kind of a little bit all over the place. We're riding that peak and valley, and we do want to get into more evergreen type of products and evergreen niches, and we definitely want to hit the Q4 big time. So even though there is a good stretch of time between now and Q4, but with everything that we have planned, it's actually not that long and not that far away. So
evergreen niches. Can you throw out some examples of 2, 3, 4 of them that you're thinking about?
Mother to daughter, husband to wife, right? And even grandparents. A lot of grandparent niches are evergreen because we're talking about birthdays and anniversaries, and these are very family oriented. So it will still be within the family, obviously, family niche. And we are, not quite sure if we want to explore the best friend niche, but that's something that we will do some research and then decide. But husband to wife, the romantic, the mother-daughter, and grandparents, I think, are some of the definitely good and big ones.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what's your goal for Q4? Do you have like a revenue goal or what? Where are we heading here?
I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do for Q4.
Let's hear it.
As long as Facebook will take their money, they're going to do 1.2 million on their main store, and the niche store that they're breaking this winter off of, they'll probably do low 6 figures on that one. So I think they'll wrap the whole year up at like 1.5 to 1.8.
How did you? Okay, we don't have to get into this. It's probably a whole nother subject, but how did you land on that? Like how did you get to those projections? Are you throwing darts here?
Yeah, I'm throwing darts, but you could also just draw a line. Also, we just got the account where Facebook's letting us spend some real money. A couple days into that but at the end, the deadline of that last run. Okay, so now we can actually spend some real money. Plus, with Q4, we have a longer period of time for them to hit a couple different winners and a couple of the big niches, and they're going to be doing 50 to 100 grand days. They're going to be doing some big days.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, hey, everybody, if you guys appreciated this, let's get some applause going on in the chat. Give us those little clap emojis for Mario and Tiffany here. Let them know how much you appreciated having them on. So, Tiffany, I know you are not a coach and you don't have a course or anything like that. Are you, if people have questions or anything, would you be open to maybe somebody reaching out, or how do you feel about all that?
Absolutely, yeah. Ask me questions. Tag me on the ShineOn group or message me. I'm just coming down from all the busyness from Q4 from Father's Day. So I will do my best next week to help answer those questions. And this weekend I'll be a little bit out of pocket. I'm actually shooting a music video for someone, so I'm the main actress in.
Wow.
So excuse me if I don't answer, but coming back Monday, I hope to get back online and be of help and be of value.
That's incredible. So you're also like a music video star over here too.
Oh, not
multi-talented here.
Not helping a friend.
So Mario, I know you do coaching. You've helped a number of our students now hit 6 figures, 7 figures, scale products. If anybody would like to connect with you, where can they find you, man?
Well, I'm pretty easy to get a hold of. You can just find me right in Facebook. You can go to mariomanduni.com, and you can book a consult call from there if you're interested in coaching. If you have questions, feel free to tag me as well in the ShineOn group and ask me questions in there, especially questions that a lot of people could benefit from. Right, it's better to ask in the ShineOn group and then get a nice engaged conversation going as well. But if you're interested in working at a level of intensity on a weekly basis with myself and the group, that Tiffany's involved with as well. Go to my website, go to mariominduni.com. Yep.
And that's Mario, Mario Minduni, MENDUNI.com, just like your little placard here.
That's right.
All right, awesome. Hey, thank you very much, you two. Appreciate having you guys on. You're always dropping knowledge bombs. I love to see when our sellers have success. It inspires me. I still get super energized by it. So Tiffany, fantastic work. I really hope you smash it for Q4. We'll have you back on. It'd be great.
We gotta get that sword. We gotta get her that sword on the wall behind her.
Dude, we got a sword coming for you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't want to make you jealous or anything, but
it's probably as tall as she is. She'll be like,
huh?
It's probably as tall as she is.
Well, maybe it's a nice sword. I gotta say. I was talking with our team literally this week, so we're working on one for you.
Awesome.
So
I'll hang it in my office with much pride.
awesome. All right, you guys.
By the way, I want to add something. Thank you and the whole ShineOn ShineOn team for providing us with this platform. And without you guys on the front end, on the back end, we actually got a lot of back end support because we have a lot of orders and pretty much, just took your team so much work and so much effort to put it together and to really help us service our customers. So really just a word of gratitude to everybody behind the scene that made it happen.
There's a ton of people behind the scenes that just are invisible, right? So I want to give them a shout out here real quick. So everybody knows Ian, Zach, Carlos, Zafi, John, Luna, right? But we also have Max, who is seldom seen kind of on the front lines. But we have a whole production team that is never out here facing the public. So we have Allie, and I'm not going to remember everybody's name, so I'm really sorry about that. But we have Allie, Amber, Tico, we have Spencer, and a bunch of other people. We have Elizabeth. There's a number of people back there that this is a whole operation, guys. It's more than just a handful of people making all of this work. So I really appreciate you kind of bringing that up. And if anybody's still on and still listening, some applause there for those guys would be much, much appreciated. We'd love to share that with them so they can hear how much you appreciate all their hard work. And these are the people, they're staying late to get your orders out. They're in early. They're skipping lunch breaks on holidays. They're hanging out when most people are on vacation, all to get the orders out in time.
We kind of spiked them with a whole bunch of one product right at the end of the headline on this one too.
I'm sorry
and thank you.
I've ruined some lives as well, I think, a couple times because of the scaling. But last Christmas, these were the people that were in the trucks, literally driving truckloads of shipments to USPS before midnight just to get them out on time the next day. So they're truly dedicated. They make the entire business go around. Even though we're in the front, without them, we would be nothing. We would literally be nothing without their hard work. So much gratitude to all of them. So thank you, everybody behind the scenes here at ShineOn. I'm going to make sure they get this video. So
yeah, and one more thing, I want to really call it out. I had a call with Zach this morning, and we were looking at this one order that really needs to go out, and it turns out the customer is an hour away from your warehouse. And he said, I will make sure this order goes out today, no matter what. And if he doesn't, I will literally drive there myself and hand deliver that order to the customer. So Zach is...
There's some UGC. Have him film that and run it as an ad to get more stuff.
That's so funny. The marketer. I thought
join now, and he'll hand deliver all your orders.
I was like, if he does that, we are filming it because that is too good of an opportunity. That is hilarious. He actually, he was serious about that, by the way. He wasn't just saying that. I mean, it was flying around, and we have a Slack for the whole team. He was like, hey, guys, if we can't get it there, I'm literally going to get in my car and drive it over. So, yeah, we have a fantastic team here behind the scenes. So I really appreciate you calling that out. They really do not get enough credit. So, all right, you two, that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much for joining me this week. Hope everybody has a great rest of their Friday, and a great weekend. And for the folks in Australia, enjoy your Saturday and Sundays. All right, everybody, take care. See ya. Hey, Michael here again. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. If you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And there's one more thing I want you to do. Check out the links in the description below. I want you to look at the link to ShineOn.com where you can sign up and become a seller with us today. It literally takes 60 seconds and it could change your life. Secondly, I want you to go to our Facebook group. It's the most engaged e-commerce group on the planet. We're constantly sharing important tips, tricks, and things like that that can help you on your seller journey and level up your e-commerce game. Thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you have a great one. Take care.